Hi guys, welcome to another Extra Talk. It's been a while, but we have so much to discuss today. Unfortunately, Juan cannot be here at the moment. He has some stuff to do. So fortunately for me, I get to cover for him and get to talk with Yaiderenko and Papimento. Welcome guys.
Thanks, buddy. How you doing?
Great. Hope you guys are good also. We're going to discuss a lot, of course, the upcoming cup game against PSV, but we will discuss this later on in the Extra Talk. But first, we have a hot topic because it's time to discuss all those Ajax veterans that still are in our first team, you know. Blind, Klaassen, Tadic, they're all getting a little bit older, of course. And there has been a lot of stuff going on this season. Blind was actually whistled at by our own fans. A lot of fans have different opinion if Klaassen should play or not. A lot of different opinions, especially probably you, Papi. And Tadic is also getting older. So we want to discuss about this topic, if they're still good enough for the first team. And yeah, let's start it off with how important do you think these guys still are for the first Ajax team? I want to start with Yaiderenko, and let's start with Blind.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think Blind can always be important with his passing game, but he hasn't been the fastest ever. And after a couple of seasons at Ajax again, I think it's time for a new player on his place. But sure, he's smart enough to deliver some quality to the team, especially in the Eredivisie. But you also see that he's a vulnerability in the more advanced European games, and that's where you want to be at. So I think for now, I would have changed a little bit, subbed him a little bit more this season. I wouldn't have started every game with Blind, but sure, he delivers some value. But next season, I think it's time for someone else, a talent, preferably.
Okay, that's clear. I want to ask you one deeper question about this, because you said somebody else should take his place. Can you clarify for us what you think is his best place in the squad? Because he played a lot of different positions during the years. And it's not always clear if left back is his best position, or maybe central defender, or if you see him as one of the pivots in front of the defense. So what is his best position according to you, Yaiderenko? And who do you think should take over in the long run? Do you already have somebody in mind?
Sure, I think for now, his best position is left back. If he's on the pitch, he's on the left back position. In the past, he was a tremendous midfield player. Especially before he went to United. He was terrific on that position. He did very well as a CV when he came back at Ajax. Remember the 18-19 season. But it's getting more and more vulnerable when you have Blind in the center of the field. Especially the defending tasks, stepping in at the right moments, is getting harder and harder for him.
Cool. What about you, Papi? Do you have something to add? What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, look, Daley Blind is a child of the club, so you gotta love him. You know, there's no hate there, and I think even the whistles wasn't even meant towards Blind. I think it was meant towards Ten Hag, because he keeps him on the pitch even if he plays bad, and I think the fans just got annoyed with that, and showed their frustration. But there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think Blind should take it personally. It's more of a, we've seen this team playing every game almost with Blind on the left back. It never gets substituted, even when he's not playing his best game. But I have seen him play wonderfully on the midfield with Edson Alvarez last year. I have seen him play amazingly in the Champions League next to De Ligt. And before he went to United, he was also he had also a lot of great matches for us. So the love is there for Blind, but I just think he is a liability. I just don't think you should bench him all the time, but there are some matches that he might not fit well, and it might not only be Blind, to be honest. It might just be that left side, Blind Tadic. That I'm not liking the left side as much as I am doing the right side. That's my overall opinion. But Blind has proved that he's a quality player. His positional play is amazing, and his passing will always be important for our team. It's just the way we want to play. And till now, I haven't seen anyone at Ajax that does that. So direct passing and skipping the midfield with his passing. So he's one of a kind in that.
And it's also because you have.
Can I add to that?
Go ahead.
Concerning the whistling of the fans, I think it's also got to do with how Nico was treated in that period, because all of a sudden Nico didn't play anything anymore, just a few minutes, and I really think that the fans were distraught about the way Nico got side-benched like that. So it's not. I don't think it was really directed to Blind at all.
Yeah, and I want to add, look, it's not, if Blind is playing bad and Nico is there, I mean, he has the experience, he has the power, so we know what we have on the bench. But when they never get used and we're playing a bad match, of course you're going to get these reactions, because we expect a much better Ajax, and we haven't seen them lately.
Yeah, we've been scraping those 3 points each week. So I think we all agree on that opinion. No, but I think what you guys are saying makes sense. But from you also, Poppy, I want to know, do you think, because how important is Blind still for the team? Because you can also look at it this way, we play with Alvarez. Alvarez is pivotal for us for the balance of the team, especially in the combination with our two central defenders. He carries the team a little bit with defensive load also. It's just important for the quality and the balance. But also, Alvarez is not the best passer. So Blind actually compensates for him from that left side, building up the play. So you cannot expect from a player like Alvarez to handle it like that, So if Blind is not in the team anymore, who will cover for this? Because if Alvarez plays, you have to have somebody who can play well at the passing play, except it's also only Gravenberg that can play forward.
Yeah, I don't agree. I mean, we saw this season a lot that the right side with Mazraoui and Anthony were mostly the build-up places we would go to and start our attack from. If it eventually comes to the left side, then Blind and Tadic would get dangerous. But the right side was, for me, the most important part of that season. And look, Blind in the first half of the season, we were all in awe of how Ajax was playing, how he was playing, but you can't expect somebody that's 32 years old to play every game in one season. And you can't expect that when you're playing bad and you're still on the pitch, that fans will accept it. And for me, you have enough bench, you have enough quality on the bench, more. But that doesn't mean I don't appreciate Blind, and that doesn't mean that Blind should be benched. No, if it doesn't work out, put somebody else on. But Blind is still an important player for us, and no one else has that capability of what he's doing. So yeah, he's unique in our team.
I agree. And not to start with you on purpose, but I want to hear what your thoughts are on Klaassen, of course. We all know a little bit what your opinion is of him. But we're going to alternate it. So we're going to start with you now, Poppy. And I want to know if you think he's still important to this team and what his role can be in the coming season. Yeah,
it's hard to deny his importance when we're playing a very defensive team. Look at Sparta. He's in the right spot. But you got to also question how we played. And look, Klaassen Haller doesn't work. But if you have a midfield or a central line with Haller, Klaassen, and then Alvarez, means you cannot build up from the central pitch. And that worries me, because we've seen Ajax doing the same thing over and over again. Only building up from the sides. There's never a surprise there in what we do. And, Klaassen is a hard worker, but to be honest, it's not the level if you want to get far in the Champions League. against Sparta, and I hate talking about him like that, because you guys all know I'm not a fan of his football, but I am a fan of the love he has for Ajax, and that's something I cannot deny. So that I do have respect for.
Yeah, me too. His love for Ajax is real, and a lot of players can learn from this. So
yeah, but I wish we would have somebody that loves Ajax that much with a higher caliber of football, you know.
Yeah,
but yeah, you can't choose them.
Combined together, like by both sides. So footballing quality and the love for the club. I agree.
Yeah, and if you see, oh, yeah. Sorry, just one more thing. If you see like 18, 19, our midfield, I mean, everything went through the midfield, but we still had great opportunities to go from the side as well. So I feel like we became a one-trick pony this season, even though we did very well. You saw at the end that it became very easy for opponents to set up against us.
Yeah, and we saw it also in the results. So I have to kind of agree with this. Yaiderenko, do you agree with Papimento? What are your thoughts on Klaassen?
Sure, I think he's the same like Blind. He's a child of the club. And that's one of the reasons why we love him so much. But the question you can also ask is, okay, he's important in those games, which is it in which it's hard. It's hard to break down the defense. But shouldn't Ajax be already 3-0 or 4-0 ahead in those games? So what's the story there? And if you look at Kudus, how he plays when he does get some time, yeah, I don't understand the choice, the remaining choice for Klaassen. Sure, you can give him minutes, but you need to develop the team. You need to develop talents. Kudus wasn't free. So you really would like to develop him for the next season. So when Gravenberch is gone, that you have something already in place, and you don't want to use the preseason for that. In my opinion, why shouldn't you just now try that when, if you bring him on the pitch, he delivers. Same with Taylor. Same with Regeer. They show some skill. Let them develop those skills.
Yeah.
And I want to add to that, Yaiderenko, that, you know, against a Sparta, do you really need to play with the Klaassen and Edson Alvarez on the midfield? Like, you could easily go with Gravenberch on the 6, Kudus, and then keep Klaassen on the 10. I wouldn't mind that. Or leave... Yeah, go. Sorry. Yeah.
If you put Kenneth on Alvarez's place, there you have your passing game. He's really good in the long ball, but then you have to put him on that position and give him that assignment to deliver the ball in the depth.
Yeah,
it's basically that simple. If you don't try it,
with all due respect, against smaller teams, maybe that is even better, because they are waiting for that one chance. And you saw in a lot of matches that Alvarez in those matches is just falling back and waiting for something for him to solve. You know, sometimes he goes with the attackers for a header with a corner or a free kick, but he's somebody who keeps the balance. And maybe against those smaller teams who park the bus, you need more footballing quality in the middle of your team, you know, in the midfield. So it kind of makes sense what you're saying. And what about our captain, Yaiderenko? Because this maybe is a little bit of a different story, right? This guy is 33 at the moment. He extended his contract until 2024 as a player. It was in the past 2023. And he has a contract still until 2027 to stay at the club, maybe as a coach or a youth coach after he's done playing. Is the time already nearing us that he should stop as a player, or is he of that great of a value still to make the difference for us?
I still think he's really important to the team, and it doesn't really matter how many pingles you give him. He gets it up and scores when he needs to score, and he sometimes misses, but if he gets another one, it doesn't matter to him, and he puts it into the net. So that's really important as well at some moments in the season. But again, in a normal season, you don't want to depend that much on a player like that. There should be much more from a team than only your captain. And if you look at the talent which is behind him, I think Van Axel Dongen is the next thing. So I would definitely try him in the preseason. Just give him time, let him show what he can, and give him time in the first matches of the season, and then you can see how it develops. You don't have to make a choice.
We still have Darami also. We almost forget about him because he didn't play that much.
Darami is a nice talent, but he's a bit of a blind horse, as we say in Dutch. It's running really hard, really fast, and then it stops really fast after that, in my opinion. I don't think.
I'm going to be a little bit of devil's advocate here about Tadic, Yaiderenko, because he's getting older, and you say that we maybe are too dependent on him. Still with this team, that there should be more quality from different areas, right? That not only the captain should carry us in important games. And I think we do that a little bit also with our right side and of course with Haller this season, but he's been pivotal for us. But I'm going to throw some stats at you both, and I want your opinions about it. Like the Tadic last season, he scored 19 goals combined over all Ajax competitions, so Serbia squad not included. So the KNVB Cup, the Eredivisie, and the Champions League, and 22 assists. At this season, the count is already 15 goals and 18 assists. So one could argue that he is still as important, or maybe more important still, because there are a lot of matches left, than in the seasons before. So is he really declining already?
But look at this gameplay and at his influence in the game. Look at the Real Madrid game away. It's a different world with what he shows today, and he still is valuable, very valuable even, because he makes the important goals in matches. Also, when you get a penalty again in the quarterfinal of a Champions League or something like that, he will bring it into the net. So he is important, but he's also older, and you have great talent after him, so or behind him. So develop that talent. And like in the 80s when Johan Cruyff went off the pitch for Marco van Basten, doesn't mean that Johan Cruyff couldn't deliver anymore. No, it's the next generation. So that's how it should work, in my opinion.
So you're more of the opinion let him play 60, 70 minutes sometimes next season and bring Axel van Dongen for the last half an hour, for example, if it's possible.
No, let them fight in the preseason and determine based on the gameplay who's going to start, and maybe alternate, whatever, and give them both minutes. But I think especially next season will be a very, very tough first half of the season, because it's going to be really clunked together due to the World Cup in November.
Yeah.
So you really need to alternate between players, and there you have a position where you have a talent that you not need next season, but the season after that you need him. So you need to develop him right now and in the next season, otherwise it's too late.
Bobby, what's your take on Tadic?
Look, I love Tadic. He did wonderful things for us. His stats speak for itself. There are a couple of things I blame our captain sometimes, like for instance the Roma game that he missed the penalty. But those are the little things in amazing career at Ajax so far. And you know, I just think the Blind and Tadic doesn't work on the left, but I think Tadic can still another season be very important for Ajax. Just don't expect that you're going to play every minute, 90 minutes, you know, like that's not going to happen again, and that shouldn't happen again. You saw it, you know, everybody got tired in the second half of the season, and we played it was a completely different Ajax. So what Yaiderenko is saying is making sense. You know, you have so many youngsters, unproven still, but you got to give them the time or at least some minutes to develop into the player you want them to be. Look, a prime example for me is Noes. In the beginning, nobody looked at him. look how many years he had at Ajax and look how great he became. So don't tell me somebody is something, you know, very bad in the beginning and he cannot develop or get better. You need the time to get the automatism in your game, you know, not for it to be new when you step on the pitch, but for it to be something that feels known. And you saw that this year, players coming in, not knowing what they should do, not even getting up to level. I think Taylor was the only one that I saw coming off the bench and Nico that really made an impact. But way too little for me.
I understand where you guys are coming from, but I do think, guys, you are being a little bit critical, and I'm going to explain why, in my opinion. Look, we are going to have a lot of rotation within our team. Our coach is probably leaving for Manchester United if the rumors are right. A lot of players will leave. Mazraoui will leave. Anthony is highly sought again after, you know, clubs want him.
How about Haller?
Haller maybe. Other positions in the team. Vigo may be leaving. There are even rumors about Timber, you know. So Gravenberg is leaving probably for Bayern München. So a lot of these positions that are not even considered as like the more experienced Ajax players are already leaving our squad. So do we not need to give some more recognition to, for example, Tadic or a Blind to carry on playing those positions next season? Because there will be a lot of other positions where new players have to come in, and that is maybe more pivotal even for the experienced players to carry the team even more, because those players need to blend in. And of course, in a perfect world, you can say, bring in all youth products, and I know you're a fan of it, Yaiderenko, bring in all youth products and let them play, and everything will be all right. But you know they have to have time to adapt to the level of the play in the Eredivisie, to the physique compared to the other teams, and also other positions will be gone. So for me, are we not being too critical about already thinking let other players maybe fill in the positions, because it will be a hard season? What do you think, Yaiderenko?
No.
No?
No. No.
Explain.
It's basically simple. You want to be in the top of Europe, period. That's where you want to be. So it must be better as last year's. You must go to the quarterfinal, at least in this season, a season like this, you must play an opponent like Liverpool. Then you can go out, but you have to go towards that level. If you look at that, then to me, it's basically really simple. If you, for instance, sell Anthony, you have to make a choice. You have to make a choice what we're going to get for Anthony, and maybe even Blind stepping away next season, Tadic getting more drawn to the background. So in my opinion, you should look for someone like Hakim Ziyech, which is going to cost you quite a lot if you want to get him back from Chelsea. But I don't think it's impossible. And I think that's the kind of strength you need on the transfer market to give the club another chance to a run like 18-19.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but it's also a little bit of a contradiction, you know, because you're opting for like more youth, but also actually what I make up from your words is that you do want experienced players combined with fresh new youth players in the squad, but maybe different experienced players than we have now.
I think the sweet spot in '95 was adding Frank Rijkaard to the group. I think the sweet spot in 18-19 was getting Blind and getting Tadic involved in a very talented team. And I think you need to do that again. I think there's loads of talent, but you cannot all do it on talent. And if you look at the right side, you can use Berghuis, but you can use Berghuis as well in the midfield. Very much so. You can even play the old Barca style with Berghuis on the 10 position, and that's where you want to go. I think you need some balance in the team, and you need some quality. some exceptional quality in one or two experienced players.
What about you, Papi?
You know, Ajax, I'm thinking about the players that are staying, okay? And then I'm thinking about what Yaiderenko is saying. I don't mind spending cash on good quality players if you don't have them in your team. But I'm just looking at what's staying, okay? And as of now, it's Tadic, Blind, Klaassen, Berghuis, Haller, and we have Edson, Martinez, and Timber. As of now.
Yeah, like the first 11 players. Yeah.
First 11 players, and but if I look at what goes away, like Noos, Onana, Anthony, those were that, yeah, Graafberg, those are pivotal players in our system, and I don't think it's easily replaceable. So there is a point there, but I don't like just spending. I just want to see, like, okay, what talents are there? Yaiderenko can go maybe the Ziyech role in Ajax, depending on, of course, at young Ajax, but it's looking good. Yeah, and we need speed, man.
Let me help you out a bit here. You can also, like Yaiderenko say, play Berghuis on the right side, and you will create room for a Kudus or for maybe an Unifar to join the squad. You know, those.
Yeah,
can,
no.
10 positions. So if Berghuis goes to the right, I know you're not maybe the biggest fan, but you also create room on other positions in the team to actually use younger players. So
no. If I see another Tadic, Haller, Berghuis, no, I will kill myself. No, please, no. No, never. No,
briefly then,
no,
guys.
because we saw how important Anthony's speed was for Ajax's play. So, and we saw, like, the last couple of games against lower rated teams where it's closed, no speed whatsoever, that it's very hard to get through. Yeah. And we should only hope for a shot from the 16-yard box for us to score. So, no, please, no.
Okay, then briefly, Papi. Tadic has a little bit of a longer contract, same for Klaassen. But do you want to extend Blind's contract that ends in 2023, and the same for Klaassen, it ends 2024? I'm not including Tadic in this because he has actually a contract until 2027. So it's up to the club to decide if they want to extend it more for a player contract or that he becomes a coach. So briefly from you both, would you like to extend the contracts of Blind when they end in 2023, and also for Davy Klaassen? You go ahead first, Papi, both.
No, I have to be honest, no. By the time his contract expires, he will be 33. He's already a liability. He is a child of the club, so I would love for him to end his career at Ajax, but it won't be as a starter, and I don't know if he could accept it. So that's why it's a no.
Okay, on both?
Klaassen, yeah. Let's see, it's 2 years, so he will be 31.
Yeah.
I mean, also a child of the club, but yeah, by the time he's 31, yeah, he can win us games against Sparta and ADO, and good for the Eredivisie. But if we're going to rely on him to be the starter, then no.
What about you, Yaiderenko?
No.
Both?
Bro, I thought I was negative. What's up, man?
Okay, yeah, you guys are.
No, but he explained it perfectly. So.
Okay, you guys are firm in your answers. I do see some quality for them still at the club, but maybe not as a first 11 player anymore. So if they can take up the role for coming from the bench as an experienced player, I can see definitely on the pitch and off the pitch still some qualities for them to bring. So I'm a little bit more mild, but I understand where you're coming from, guys. So another important thing to talk about, guys, a big match coming up this weekend. Cup final against our rivals PSV, and we have quite some absence in the team. You know, we have some injuries. For example, Anthony, of course, is injured. Mazraoui, it's unknown yet if he can return already. We have Rensch that is still injured. Tagliafico will be okay probably, but Ten Hag said. Labiat is out, of course, but He isn't playing anyway, so that doesn't matter that much. Although we wish him a speedy recovery, of course, because
Of course.
he's a guy. Martinez probably okay, and Stekelenburg is back on the bench. So with all this information, you know, what are your thoughts on the upcoming game? So I want to start with Yaiderenko. What do you think the game, how it will go? And I want to know which starting 11 you will play.
I'm holding my heart for the next game. The team is not in form. They don't seem fit. So I think PSV will try to make it a hard game, and that's going to be really tough for the guys, I think. And I'm especially holding my heart because I think Ten Hag will choose his favorites and will start with Klaassen again. He obviously will start with Haller, which I think is a big mistake, but whatever. We're gonna see it. But I'm gonna say it's a tough game for Ajax, and if they win, I'm really happy if they win. If it's on penalties or not, I don't care. If they win the cup, I'm really impressed because I think it's going to be a tough game.
Okay, and you're saying like you think Ten Hag will start with Haller. You disagree with that? What would be your starting 11, Yaiderenko? Because I think you will maybe put some other players in certain positions.
Yeah, definitely.
Start with the goalkeeper. Will you play Onana or?
No.
No?
I will either try Gorter or Stekelenburg, but I would have tried Gorter already, at least last game, because I think there are two things with Onana. One, he's not performing currently. Basically, that's simple. And what he did last game, I think it's shameful. I think it's shameful not only to the fans and towards Ajax, but also towards his teammates. And I think you cannot tolerate that as a staffing coach. Not only Ten Hag, I also think that Bogarde and the other assistants cannot tolerate this kind of behavior and this kind of disrespect towards the team. So he won't start with me. And I would always try to start with Martinez and Timber in the center. And then fill in the blanks on the right side and the left side, depending on the fitness of Mazraoui. If he's fit, he's going to play, obviously.
If he's not fit, how are you going to solve that right back position? Are you going to switch Timber to the side, or because Ranch isn't also available?
No, I think I either would try
Taylor.
No, I don't think I would try Timber. I think I would try Regeer or something like that. And depending on if Mazraoui is fit, if Mazraoui is fit, I would definitely choose for Taylor in the center, just to get some speed into the game. And I would play with either the combination Gravenberg-Berghuis or Berghuis-Kudus. Because I think you need... Sorry?
Gravenberg is getting benched in that certain...
I think you need something else against this PSV. And I think the combination of the strength of Kudus and his passing game, his forward passing game, and his speed he brings into the game, I think that's a tremendous weapon. And I like Berghuis towards Brobbey in the striker position, because I would try Brobbey in the striker position.
And what about the wingers? Because Anthony isn't there, you probably want to play Berghuis in the center, like you just said. Tadic on the left side.
The Tadic definitely on the right side, Brobbey in the center, and yeah, I maybe even switch it around and put Berghuis on the right side, and then get Gravenberg in the center as well.
Okay, and then Tadic take the left as he always does. Okay. And one more question about that midfield of yours, because I like the way you think, but with Kudus and Taylor and even Berghuis, if you try him as the 10, one of your models, you know, isn't that too much attacking qualities there? Because who's going to keep the balance? Taylor is not a real defender. Kudus also attacking minded, and Berghuis is pretty attacking minded. So if Gravenberg doesn't play and also Alvarez doesn't play, who's going to keep the balance?
But you have Timber and Martinez in the back, who are really good in stepping in and choosing their moments to assist Alvarez, or in this case Taylor. And I think if you can play that game that way, then you're really gonna put pressure on the ball. And I think opponents never like that when Ajax does that. And that's the reason why I would choose such a formation, just to get the pressure on the ball and get the ball fast back, and ideally in their half, because then you can become dangerous almost immediately.
It's an interesting take. I'm very curious what you think about this, Papimento. What is your thought on the final this weekend, and how would you play?
First of all, I want to say I think PSV is playing against Leicester on Thursday, so they're not having the same resting period as Ajax. So that's why I think Ajax will win.
It's really refreshing to actually see them in the end of the season still playing in Europe, and we're getting a little bit more rest, right? Because PSV.
So it falls onto us to go in highly motivated, high energy, and I think we should win it. Just not with the formation we had against Sparta. I hope we change things around. I would still play with the cartel. I would still play with Blind. Not sure he's available though, but if he's available, I would still play Blind. I think I would put. It's gonna sound weird, but I'm gonna put Brobbey on the left, Tadic center, Berghuis on the right. No, Berghuis on the 10. Let me start over. Tadic on the left, Brobbey striker, and Kudus on the right, I think. And then Berghuis on the 10.
Right.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, because I think he has a good dribble, good passing, and he could play like not a forward, kind of like pushed back a little bit or two forward. And he could give us an extra edge on the midfield, I think, just to get better hold of the ball in the midfield. And Berghuis could come in, you know, from the 10 position, move to the side and create space that way. But I think that would work. And I want to see Kudus once on the side, man. I think his speed and his dribble is underestimated.
So let me get into that thought process of yours, you know. You're thinking like, whoa, this is a final, you know, it's against PSV, like our fiercest rival at the moment in the competition. Kudus isn't playing that much at the moment. You know what?
Give him the time, bro.
And let me drop him in on the right winger position also. I cannot understand that thought process, because if you want to play him, at least put Berghuis on the right winger position and give him the 10, because it's less of a hassle for him to adjust to this. So and you know, PSV is also known for their counter attack. So if you put him on that position, he has to track back a lot, you know. So,
but yeah. even better, if you take away the midfield of Ten Hag and just put a 6, like Cruyff did, a 6 in the center, and then two 8s in front of that, and pressure from there. Not with one player in front, no, with 2 players in front.
So, like we say, what we say in Dutch, the point to the back. Or the point to the front.
The diamond.
Point to the back.
Diamond.
So kind of. Yeah. Okay.
Look, I think it's not going to be a Sparta game. I think it's going to be open play, much more room to play, because they also want to attack. It's not going to be them just defending. So I think we're going to get space, and we need to take advantage of that space. And it's not going to happen with a Berghuis, Tadic, Haller on the front and a Klaassen back. So for me, that's a big no-no. Hope Onana gets benched and we never see him again, because I'm so tired of that guy. No, seriously. I was still okay. He's doing his best, you know, whatever. But after that interview, it's didn't show class whatsoever. So
disrespectful. It's so disrespectful towards the team,
So-
towards the fans, towards the club. It's just so disrespectful.
exactly. So give Korter a chance and or Stekelenburg, put him back in. Just don't know the level of them, but I'd rather lose it than Onana playing another game for Ajax.
So last thing, let me get this straight. You both play Robbie and you both bench Haller. This is what you both saying, right?
But look at all the strikers at Ajax. Look at Bergkamp. Look at Van Basten. Look at Kluivert. Look at Arveladze. Look, how many players do I have to point out? And then look at Haller. You cannot stop laughing. I'm sorry.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here, Yaiderenko. Look at the stats of Haller this season in the Champions League and in the competition, and look at the stats of some of those players in certain years of the competition. I cannot imagine
Look at his stats. But look at his stats in the last games.
Stats when you mention.
But look at his stats in the last games. Nothing.
Yeah, but the whole team.
But Ajax, come on, man. Come on. I mean, look, he didn't score against Groningen. He didn't score against Sparta. Was almost invisible, nearly. Yeah, it's good that he scored so many in the Champions League where there was a lot of space. But and he might be crucial for against PSV because he will get more space and he will be the scorer then. But it was mostly Anthony and Tadic have to do something brilliant to get the ball to him, and then he can score it in the box. But till it gets to the box, you don't have a lot of extra with Haller, to be honest. It's like you're playing with a guy less.
I understand where you're
except
coming
his pressing.
But seriously, without his goals this season, we would have been way lower in the competition. And yes, you can say maybe if Robbie would have played, he would score a lot also. But you also have to take into consideration with Klaassen behind him, like the balls he's getting in the combination play isn't there, right? So, and those crosses have been abdominal from the sides. It's horrific.
Okay, but did you see a lot of crosses against Sparta? Did you see a lot of crosses versus Groningen? Did he win a header against Groningen, or did he score, or did he do something dangerous?
The whole team was bad, but actually
that
goal that he was nearly offside, the way he controlled that ball and he scored, it was unfortunate that he was marginally offside, but it was top notch, man.
Yeah, that was
the way he controlled the ball.
That was great.
It was really great. So
that was the only thing that he did that was great in 90 minutes. And then we're gonna say he's a great player? Come on.
More than with one header and like a goal that got fumbled by the goalkeeper. I think you guys are being a little bit harsh, but I respect your opinions. But I do
most of his goals were tap-ins, so I can't believe that you are defending him this much. But okay, as you like him a lot as well. So
don't get me wrong, I love Robbie also, but to drop him for the cup final just like that, it's not going to happen. You both know it, but I understand where you're coming from. So last but not least, guys, predictions. We have to make a prediction. What is it going to be? What score is it going to be? Are we going to win? Are you guys as negative as you are on certain subjects this evening? Let's start with Poppy. What is your score prediction, man? Oh, that's quiet.
Yeah, that's a hard one because we're not clicking Ajax. So it feels like it's going to be a hard game. But knowing that PSV is playing against Leicester on Thursday gives us an edge. So I'm going to say Ajax wins 3-1.
Yaiderenko and you.
We're going to go extra time.
No.
Penalties, or are we going to score the decisive goal in the extra time?
I hope we score the decisive goal not in extra time, but I'm afraid we're going to go for the penalties.
And we will win it, or?
I hope so, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Poppy. I had 3-1 in my mind also. So hopefully we're right. And I want to thank you guys both for being here today. It was an interesting discussion. And let's definitely finish it off with a high this weekend. And the next time we see each other, we will be cheering, man. So
let's hope, man.
Enjoy, guys, and thanks for coming again.
Cheers.
Cheers.